I was hospitalized after a car accident, and on a whim, decided to mess with my boyfriend. Who are you? Seeing the stunned look on Ben Carson's face, I almost burst out laughing. But Ben suddenly pointed at his good buddy, Austin Rivers. I'm your boyfriend's brother. He's your boyfriend, Austin Rivers. My expression froze. Austin stepped forward. Yeah, I'm your boyfriend. I forced a smile. Then take me home. Austin Rivers brought me home. He said I'd always lived here. I looked around at the place, which bore no trace of my life, and nodded like a blind woman, just like him. I lay on his bed for a while, then got up to get a drink of water. That's when I heard voices coming from the living room. Austin, just help a brother out, pretend to be Angela's boyfriend for a while. Aren't you worried she'll suddenly get her memory back? If she gets mad, I'll just coax her back. She loves me too much to really leave. Honestly, I've grown tired of us for a while now. This is a perfect chance to take a breather and have some fun outside. So you did hook up with Katie Jackson, huh? Using this chance to fool around with her? You get it. But I do love Angela more. While she's with you, don't mess with her, alright? But I trust you the most out of all my brothers. You've never liked Angela, anyway. Barefoot, I quietly backed away, then deliberately made noise at the bedroom door before walking back toward the living room. Austin heard the noise and quickly shut off his phone and stood up. The floor's cold. Why aren't you wearing shoes? He rushed over, picked me up in his arms, and placed me gently on the couch. I'm thirsty, I said, a bit unsure of where to get water. I'll get it for you. Austin went to the water dispenser and brought me a glass. He sat beside me, eyes full of concern. Are you feeling okay anywhere else? I shook my head after sipping the water. He gently brushed aside my messy hair, leaned in, and kissed my forehead. I blinked. Just now, I'd heard Ben tell him not to touch me. I'd always thought Austin didn't like me either. And yet, when he kissed my lips, I turned my head away. Unbothered, he softly caressed my face. It's okay. You don't remember. We'll take it slow, you'll get used to me again. Austin, it seemed, was also lying to his dear brother. When Austin brought me into the private room, it was already lively. A group of young men from influential Beijing families fell silent the moment they saw me, casting glances at Ben Carson. Oh wow, Angela's here. Do you still remember me? I'm your college roommate, Katie Jackson, said Katie, seated right beside Ben. Austin led me to a seat. I looked at her and shook my head. Sorry, I don't. No worries, we can all get to know each other again, Katie said cheerfully, clinging to Ben's arm with smug intimacy. This former roommate, once a friend, clearly saw my amnesia as her green light to show off. Ben, too, seemed to enjoy the thrill of being intimate with another woman right in front of me. Yeah, it's great. Both of you girls' boyfriends are from the same circle. Even if you've lost your memory, nothing much changes, we still hang out all the time. Everyone spoke with thinly veiled mockery, enjoying the twisted amusement of watching someone wear a green hat unknowingly. The games continued. Ben and Katie ate from the same cookie, their mouths drawing closer and closer. Kiss, kiss, someone chanted. And so, surrounded by cheers, Ben and Katie shared a deep kiss. Katie then nestled into Ben's arms, shooting me a triumphant look. Ben looked pleased with himself as he wrapped his arms around her. Later, when I lost a round and had to face a punishment, the rule was to kiss someone for 30 seconds. Everyone turned to me in curious silence. Who would I choose? Surely, by instinct, I'd still choose Ben? Ben looked uneasy, eyes avoiding mine, clearly not wanting me to react on autopilot just yet. Even Austin beside me looked tense. With a smile, I said, of course, I'll choose my boyfriend. I turned to Austin. Shall we? I could clearly feel the way Austin relaxed. He looked straight at me and leaned in. I wrapped my arms around his neck and kissed him. Wow! Cheers erupted again. They had seen Ben kiss other women, but me, kissing another man? That was a first. It was such a novelty that they all quieted down afterward. Austin didn't hold back, chasing after the kiss with intensity. After 30 seconds, I pulled away, only to see Ben's darkened expression. That explained the sudden silence. How ridiculous. Austin gently wiped a bit of moisture from the corner of my mouth. What's wrong with everyone? Wasn't I just taking my punishment? I asked with feigned confusion, playing along with the strange tension. Angela's really not shy with her boyfriend, even with amnesia, Katie sneered, clearly mocking me for being clueless. Ben's face was even more sour. I headed to the bathroom outside, only to overhear a conversation from the staircase. Austin, I told you not to touch her like that. That wasn't cool, Ben said coldly. It was just a game. She's got amnesia. What was I supposed to do, have her kiss you, a guy with a girlfriend? I'm the one you assigned to be her boyfriend, remember? Austin replied, half laughing. Ben went quiet. Fine. Just keep your distance. I don't believe you'd actually sleep with Angela, but try to avoid getting too close. Otherwise, you might not be able to stop yourself, and I'd feel kinda guilty, you know. Heh, you do know me best. Back at Austin's villa. I was about to enter my room when he grabbed my hand. Without a word, he leaned down and kissed me. I tried to turn away, but he held me tightly. Only after a long moment did he finally let go, cupping my face and whispering, "We made progress today, didn't we? We can slowly get to know each other more." I stared up at him, stunned. He seemed to be going completely against what he'd promised his brother. I couldn't understand him. Ben and I came from completely different worlds. It had taken time and effort for him to earn my trust. Eventually, I met his circle of friends, those young elites from Beijing. Especially Austin. Austin had always looked down on me. It was common knowledge among them that he disliked me. He often mocked my relationship with Ben. Back then, I did everything I could to avoid him. But ever since I lost my memory and Ben forced us together, Austin had repeatedly taken advantage of that fact. Was he doing this just to spite Ben? My job as a designer allowed me to work from home frequently. One evening, Austin knocked on my door. "You've worked hard. There's a fireworks show tonight, let's go watch." We arrived by the lakeside, where the fireworks were already lighting up the sky. Ben and Katie stood in the best spot, gazing up at the dazzling display. Katie leaned happily against Ben, suddenly planting a kiss on his cheek, full of bubbly joy. Ben smiled at her and playfully tapped her nose. Then, turning his head, he saw us. The moment Ben spotted me, he stiffened, just for a second, but quickly masked it. Katie also saw us. "Oh, you're here. Angela, perfect timing. Help us take a few photos," she said, handing me her phone. Ben hesitated, glancing at me again. "I'm really so happy today," Katie said dreamily. "These fireworks are all for me. Ben planned them especially. I want to capture this moment forever." She stepped beside him, looking up at him lovingly. Ben's expression softened as he wrapped an arm around her. My hand paused as I held her phone. So this grand fireworks display was for Katie. I looked through the camera, seeing the two of them nestled close. Ben's arms around Katie, Katie resting on his chest, her face glowing with joy. Behind them, a sky full of fireworks, dreamy, romantic. I quietly took their photos. Once, for my birthday, Ben had also filled the sky with fireworks. Katie had offered to take our pictures back then. I probably wore the same happy smile she had now. Katie had even sighed, saying, "I envy you so much. I hope one day someone will treat me like that too." I had comforted her, saying she would find someone. And now, she had. Just then, Austin took the phone from my hand. "That's enough. You're not here to be their personal photographer." He tossed the phone back. Ben caught it and handed it to Katie. After the fireworks, Katie and I went to the restroom. It was crowded, so I decided to wait. On my way back, I overheard a conversation, Austin and Ben, waiting near the stairs. "You and Katie seem to be having a good time," Austin said. "It's been a while since you looked that happy with Angela Perry, right?" "True," Ben replied. "Being with Katie feels like rediscovering what Angela and I once had. But Katie's even more obedient, more thoughtful. She makes me feel relaxed, happy. Then maybe just go with it. Katie seems better suited to you anyway. Didn't you say Angela could be stubborn sometimes? That she stressed you out? Come on, Austin. Angela and I have been together for years. It's not something you can just end overnight." Katie said she's not asking for anything long-term. She's just happy to enjoy this time together. "Such a foolish, sweet girl," Ben said with a sigh. Austin chuckled. Heh. Back at the villa, Austin suddenly pulled me into a kiss. Then he let go slightly and looked into my eyes. "Angela Perry, you know what? You're already the best version of yourself. You don't need to compare with anyone." I stared at him, stunned, like he was responding directly to Ben's comparison between me and Katie. How did he know me so well? He remembered all the little things Ben had forgotten, the candies I liked, my favorite dishes, the movies I loved. And just like that, he stepped even closer. This time, I didn't push him away. He looked dazed for a moment, then picked me up in his arms and carried me into his room. I had only ever been with one man before, Ben. Back then, I hadn't trusted him at all when he first pursued me. But his sincerity, his determination, the way he treated my grandma with such kindness and supported me in secret, it had all moved me. Later, when his parents cut off his financial support because they disapproved of me, I thought that would be the end. But he didn't give up. We worked part-time and studied together. Eventually, his parents relented out of guilt and allowed it. That's when I truly committed to being with him. When my only family, my grandmother, passed away, he held me tightly and said I still had him. That he'd always be by my side. Such a love had now crumbled beyond recognition. Well then, maybe it's time to learn how to love someone else. On Friday, we went to a resort for the weekend. While assigning rooms at the guest house, Ben looked displeased. In private, he told Austin, "Are you two really going to share a room? Better split up. It's just a room. You know I don't like her. What are you so worried about?" Austin replied calmly. I appeared suddenly. Ben's expression soured, but whatever he was about to say, he swallowed it. The next morning, Ben looked furious as he pulled Austin aside. I happened to be on the upstairs balcony when I heard their voices below. "Did you sleep with her last night?" Ben demanded furiously. "You didn't seriously skip cuddling with your sweet little girlfriend just to eavesdrop on us, did you?" "Ben, that's kind of perverted," Austin replied casually. "Austin, don't play dumb with me." Ben snapped. "That's enough, I don't need you pretending to be Angela's boyfriend anymore." "Oh? And what are you planning to say instead?" Austin scoffed. "That you are her real boyfriend? That you wanted to mess around with other girls, even her friend, so you tricked her into thinking I was her boyfriend? You brave enough to say that?" Ben was momentarily stunned. "And what about your new girlfriend?" Austin added. "Didn't you really like her? She's right over there." "From the beginning, Katie and I agreed it was just a short-term thing." Ben snapped back. "I never intended to give up on Angela. Angela loves me. She'll get her memory back eventually. I'll apologize to her sincerely, propose to her, and promise she'll be the only woman in my life. She will forgive me. And you took advantage of the situation to sleep with her?" Ben was shaking with rage. "Austin, didn't you say you hated her?" "Huh? When did I ever say that?" Austin sneered. "That was always you guys saying it." Ben clenched his fists, eyes blazing. "I never imagined you, my good brother, would stab me in the back like this. You've been hiding your disgusting feelings for Angela, waiting for this chance to take her for yourself." "Ben, you created this mess," Austin said evenly. "You were the one who said, 'I'm her boyfriend.'" Ben Carson looked pale and flustered. "Now that Angela and I have been intimate, and since you seem to really like Katie," Austin continued, "why not just go with it? Like I said before, let it be a beautiful mistake. When Angela regains her memory, no need for you to ask for forgiveness." "I will. Isn't that a win-win for everyone?" Ben gave a cold laugh. "I don't care what's happened between you and Angela. Maybe it'll even help her forgive me. I'll break things off with Katie right away and do everything I can to make it right. I want to see where Angela's heart truly lies." I plucked at a flower pot on the balcony, bored. Then I noticed Katie on the other side of the wall, hiding, and clearly eavesdropping on their entire conversation. When she heard Ben's words, she turned and ran off in a panic. Later that afternoon, while the men were fishing, Katie suddenly called out to me. "Angela, let's go pick some grapes. It looks so fun." I gave her a meaningful glance and smiled, then followed her. In the vineyard, Katie suddenly handed me her phone. "Angela, I want to show you something." I took it and looked. "There are a lot of photos, take your time scrolling." "I got them from Ben's phone," she said, her voice laced with sarcasm. On her phone were countless photos of me and Ben, kissing, cuddling, even in bed together. I handed the phone back to her and looked at her calmly. "What's your point?" She froze, then smirked. "What do you think it means? Ben said Austin is your boyfriend, yet there are all these intimate photos of you and him, from your school days to now. What do you think it means?" "Oh, but everyone says my boyfriend is Austin," I said, expression unchanging. "Angela, are you really this dumb?" she snapped. "Look at those photos, Ben's been lying to you. Ben has always been your boyfriend. Never Austin. He just used your amnesia as an excuse. He didn't want to be your boyfriend anymore, so he lied and made you believe Austin was, so he could go off and have his fun. And Austin? He's been playing along with Ben's lies this whole time. You've been played like a fool, Angela. Everyone's laughing behind your back. I'm your friend, and I couldn't just watch anymore. That's why I'm telling you." Katie blurted it all out in a rush, clearly running out of patience. Still, my face remained calm. She stared at me, stunned that I hadn't reacted. I smiled. "So what? Is my life so bad now? Has Austin treated me poorly? Is he worse than Ben ever was?" Her eyes widened in disbelief. You knew?" she suddenly gasped. Don't tell me, you never lost your memory." I gently plucked a grape from the vine. "Ah, you figured it out, huh? Well, since we're friends, you can't tell anyone, okay? You. She stared at me like she was seeing me for the first time. "You never lost your memory? And you still went and slept with Austin?" "Angela, I never imagined, this is who you really are." "And who was I before?" I asked, amused. "Katie, you worked so hard to become my friend, tried everything to get close to Ben, don't you know exactly what you were after?" Her expression twisted. I love Ben. Truly. But you're just pretending. You knew everything and still slept with Austin. You're nothing like how everyone thought you were. You're not strong, brave, kind, or honest, and you never really loved Ben. Oh? I chuckled. Who says I didn't love Ben? How ironic. If he hadn't pushed me toward Austin, wasn't I still loving him this whole time? Did I ever betray him the way he betrayed me? I looked at her with confusion. Why do you talk to me with such self-righteousness? If Ben had nothing, if he had no money or status, would you still dare to say you truly loved him? Ha. Katie's face turned pale, then flushed. You. Angela, you're terrifying. I'm terrifying? I smiled. Isn't the man who pushed his girlfriend to another man scarier? The one who cheats on her with her friend, isn't he the one who's terrifying? Katie, I continued, still smiling, you should be grateful. Between Austin and Ben, I'll only hold on to one. I have no interest in fighting with you. In my eyes, Ben is already dirty. If you want him, go ahead, try to hold on to him with your own skills. I won't ruin it for you, don't worry. Katie stared at me, trembling. So you don't love Ben or Austin? You just want to cling to a rich man? Doesn't matter who it is, as long as he gives you a good life? A flicker of annoyance passed through me. I already told you, I loved Ben. But what did I get in return? Why should I keep loving a man like that? Austin lied to me too. Why should I give him my whole heart? It's just, compared to Ben, Austin doesn't seem as dirty yet. As long as he treats me well and gives me what I want, I'll treat him well too. Katie glared at me. You really think you can keep Austin in your grasp? He's the most unpredictable, most dangerous man in their entire circle. I toyed with the grape in my hand. You use your tricks, I'll use mine. We both know what it's like to live poor. What you choose to do, that's up to you. If Katie didn't cross me, I wouldn't bother with her. But if she started seeing me as the enemy again. Suddenly, I sensed someone just outside the vineyard, as if they were listening in. I turned, but all I saw was a rustle of leaves. Katie and I walked out of the vineyard with baskets of grapes. Austin came toward us, took the basket from my hands, and said gently, "You were gone so long, I was getting worried." He wrapped an arm around me and led me back toward the guest house. Katie stared at me and at the man beside me, as if wondering why he treated me with such tenderness. Ben arrived too, but he didn't go to Katie. Instead, he just stood there coldly, glaring at Austin. I tilted my head and looked at him, confused, like usual. Then Ben stepped forward. "Angela, there's a natural horse ranch nearby. You once said you wanted to go horseback riding. I'll take you." I turned to Austin. "Did I ever say that? If so, take me then." "Sure. But let's wash the grapes first," Austin said smoothly, and led me away. Ben stood frozen in place. Behind us, I could feel Katie's burning jealousy. Later, we sat at the table, peeling grapes. I noticed Austin watching me with a strange expression. I looked up, and he quickly shifted back to his usual gentle gaze. Smiling, I fed him a grape. He bit down, then caught my fingers with his mouth, as if trying to suck every bit of juice from them. Ever since we'd gotten intimate, his flirtation could rise at any moment. Later, we suited up and went to the ranch. Several of the young elites were already riding. Ben and Katie were still by the stables. Katie was trying to pick a horse, while Ben looked distracted. "Katie, I need to talk to you," Ben suddenly said. Katie looked nervous, she knew what he was about to say. Just then, she saw us approaching and quickly called out, "Oh, Angela. You're here." We walked over. "Picked a horse yet?" I asked with a smile. Austin was instructing the ranch staff to find me a gentle, beautiful, and well-sized horse. He rode with me for a while before we heard shouting from Ben's side. "Ben, look out." "Katie." "Ah." A horse had somehow gotten loose and charged straight toward Ben. Katie, without thinking of her own safety, tried to ride in and block it. She was thrown off, injured, and rushed to the resort's infirmary by Ben. The ranch staff whispered to each other, confused, why had she done that? All the other riders had dodged out of the way. Ben's riding skills were good enough to avoid it himself. He was holding the reins firmly, he wouldn't have fallen. Compared to that, Katie's reckless sprint while barely seated just to block the horse had gotten herself thrown off. The impact had been too much. If anything happened, the ranch might have been blamed unfairly. Of course, Ben couldn't hear any of that. Katie was later transferred to a hospital in the city. The doctor said she'd need a wheelchair for a few months. When Austin and I got back to the villa, I couldn't help but sigh. Katie had really gone all in. Let's see if she gets what she wants. That night, as Austin held me in bed, he said, "If I were ever in danger, I wouldn't want you to save me like that. I'd rather you stay safe." I looked up at him. It almost sounded like he was preparing an excuse ahead of time, like he already knew I wouldn't risk myself for him. "If you were in danger," he added seriously, "I'd do anything to save you." I smiled and stroked his face. "We'll both be just fine. There won't be any danger." He held my hand to his lips and kissed it, then leaned in over me again. Lately, Ben had been spending a lot of time at the hospital. Katie posted a lot on her social media, flowers, food, and Ben taking care of her. She looked so happy. I'd been doing pretty well myself. I'd said before, I did love Ben. So whenever I saw him, the man who gave me away to Austin, it still stirred something inside me. But I rarely saw him now. Though sometimes, it's dangerous to even think of him. My interior design project had just won an award. It was the same project I had submitted a while ago, the one I'd told Ben about. I'd even said to him, come to the award ceremony, okay? If I win, I want to share that joy with you first. He had brushed it off, saying he had a friend's birthday that day. But he showed up. I received my award and gave my speech on stage. Then, stepping off the podium, I ran toward someone. Ben took a step forward, eyes lit with emotion. But I ran into the arms of the man holding my favorite flowers, arms wide open to catch me. Austin spun me around twice and kissed my cheek. Angela is the best. Ben stood off to the side, staring at us with reddened eyes and clenched fists. On my grandmother's Memorial Day, Austin and I arrived at the cemetery. Ben was already there. He greeted me gently. I cleaned up the area around Grandma's tombstone. Thank you. I nodded politely. Austin, make sure you thank your brother properly. I will, Austin replied lightly. I'll treat my dear brother to a nice dinner. He placed offerings before Grandma's grave. Though, I already cleaned up yesterday. No need to trouble my good brother again. Austin and I paid our respects together. I told Grandma that Austin had been treating me well, that I was doing great, and she didn't have to worry about me anymore. Ben stood off to the side, fists clenched, watching us together in silence. I knew that Austin had once stopped Ben from telling me the truth. He'd said, do you really think telling her about your lies, while she hasn't recovered her memory and has no feelings for you, will end well? Will she accept you, or will she hate you more than ever? Ben got scared. But these days, he'd been nothing more than an outsider, completely invisible in my world. And now, he couldn't hold it in anymore. He stopped me on my way home from work. Angela. He looked at me with a deep, emotional gaze, like he hadn't been able to look at me freely for a long time. I frowned. Ben, what is it? Angela, I've already ended things with Katie, he said urgently, stepping closer. I immediately took a step back. And, what does that have to do with me? Angela, I just want you to know that my relationship with Katie was a mistake. She was the one who kept coming on to me, he said frantically. But I've come to my senses. I realize I was wrong. I've made things right. I frowned. You don't need to tell me this. He shook his head, panicking. I wanted to wait until you regained your memory, but I can't wait any longer. I need you to know, the truth is, your real boyfriend is. Ben, seriously, I cut him off. There's no need to say such confusing things. Austin is your good brother, isn't he? Austin is no longer my brother, he roared. He planned this. He deliberately stole you from me. What are you talking about? I don't understand a word you're saying. Please don't do this anymore. I was looking for a way to shake him off when I spotted Austin's car pulling up. Austin. I ran over to him. He quickly stopped the car, got out, and wrapped me in his arms. I leaned into his chest, as if frightened. Holding me close, he glared at Ben. Ben, what the hell is wrong with you again? Austin. Ben stepped forward, fists clenched, full of rage. Ben, Austin snapped, do you really think throwing a tantrum will get you what you want? The only reason you can still show your face in front of Angela is because she doesn't know who you really are. But if you keep going like this, she'll keep hiding from you. And I'll protect her, I won't let you near her again. Our brotherhood? Our circle? It's over. Austin's voice was cold, heavy with threat and finality. Ben froze. He understood what Austin meant. He knew what would happen if he revealed the truth. And if he kept pushing, Austin would flip the whole table, and Ben would lose any chance to ever see me again. As Ben stood there, red-eyed, I got into the car with Austin and drove away. I turned to look at the man behind the wheel. Lately, I couldn't help but feel he was following my expectations too perfectly. As if he always knew what I wanted him to do. But how could he know? I was just a woman who had supposedly lost her memory. Katie asked to meet. She said she'd finally given up, and that once her injury healed, she'd leave the city. Said I didn't need to worry about her spilling the truth anymore. Was that a threat? If I didn't show up, would she accidentally tell the truth? I met her by the lake. She sat in a wheelchair by a bench. Still in a wheelchair? I walked over. You're really leaving? She gave me a faint smile and motioned for me to sit. What's the point of staying? I got nothing. Just more heartbreak. I truly loved Ben. I shrugged and sat down. I hope you let it go. She looked at me. I really admire you. You made both Ben and Austin fall for you. I raised an eyebrow. You're not secretly recording this, are you? She froze, then laughed and handed me a recorder from her pocket. You're good. I turned it off and gave it back to her. You don't need to make this so dramatic. Ben loves me? He still betrayed me. Austin? Who knows what he'll be like in the future? I said it mockingly. She looked at me. I used to think you were sincere and kind toward everything. Now I see, you approach everything with defense and calculation. I frowned. You don't have to look at me like I'm some strange creature. I simply love others after I've learned to love myself. Isn't that reasonable? But you got everything. And I got nothing, she said, dazed and heartbroken. Then stop obsessing over love. With everything you've done for Ben, it wouldn't be hard to get enough compensation to last the rest of your life, I said. She looked confused. Don't you hate me? I was the one who seduced Ben, who used our friendship to get close to him. At first, he didn't care about me at all. Later, when he got tired of you, I treated him gently, told him I expected nothing, that I just wanted to be happy. And in me, he saw the shadow of what you used to be. That's why he treated me well. I shook my head. So he used you, and you blame me for seducing him? That makes sense? When I realized you weren't truly sincere with me, I stopped treating you as a friend. Otherwise, it would have been double betrayal. You weren't a real friend to me, and you haven't harmed me. So why should your choices matter to me? The only one who betrayed me was Ben. She laughed. I really do admire you. But, her eyes flicked behind me. Then she said, I still hate you, Angela. Because you got everything I ever dreamed of. And before I could react, she pulled a knife from her pocket, stood up from the wheelchair, and lunged at me. Ah! Startled, I jumped up and backed away. But she came at me relentlessly, stabbing again and again. Are you crazy? Katie, is it worth throwing away your whole life over a man? I shouted, raising my arm to block the blade, only to realize. It wasn't a real knife. Angela. Angela. Two panicked voices rang out from both sides. Austin and Ben ran toward me, terrified. Austin shielded me with his body, pulling me into his arms. Ben kicked Katie hard, knocking her to the ground. Ah! Katie cried as she fell, the fake knife clattering from her hand. Ben turned to look at me, confirming I was unharmed, then raised his foot, aiming to stomp down. Ben, stop. That's enough. The knife is fake, it's just a retractable prop. I shouted. Ben froze mid-step. Austin frantically checked me over, scanning me head to toe to make sure I wasn't hurt. Katie collapsed on the ground and let out a low, bitter laugh. Angela, after being your friend for so many years, I guess I picked up a few tricks, huh? I didn't actually throw away the rest of my life. What are you trying to do? Ben glared at her, voice sharp. Austin, still holding me tightly and having confirmed I was unhurt, turned a dark, icy gaze toward her as well. Tears in her eyes, Katie looked at Ben, then at Austin, whose expression looked like he could kill her. Then, suddenly, she burst into wild laughter. I knew exactly what she was going to do. Imagine that, two powerful, privileged men from Beijing's elite circles, completely spun around by one woman. Katie laughed mockingly, pointing at me, seemingly weak, safe in Austin's arms. Angela never lost her memory at all. Ben froze. Katie turned to him. You told me she loved you. That once she remembered everything, she wouldn't be able to let go. But she never forgot anything. And yet she still chose to be with Austin. And you know why, don't you? Because she never loved you as much as you thought. She found out you betrayed her, so she moved on, to someone else who could give her the life she wanted. She found her next best option, someone who could still give her comfort, money, security. Katie screamed with scorn, then turned her gaze on Austin. And you, Austin, I really don't get it. How could you fall for your brother's woman? She slept with Ben for years. And don't think she really loves you. You're just the same as Ben, equally powerful, equally capable of giving her everything. If you had nothing, do you really think she'd fall into your arms? She laughed, broken and crazed. You're all pathetic. Two men tearing each other apart, over a woman who could abandon either of you at any moment. Shut up. Austin growled at her, then turned down to me gently. Angela, let's go. I looked up at him, his expression calm, unchanged. His reaction always managed to surprise me. Katie let out another hollow laugh. Ben, I dare you, go ahead, ask her. Ask Angela, did she ever really lose her memory? Ben stood there, trembling with panic. Lost. Avoidant. Afraid. Katie's outburst, and my silence, had cracked open the truth. He was terrified to confirm it. Because if it was true, it meant I really didn't love him anymore. It meant I had willingly fallen into Austin's arms. Angela, let's leave, Austin said firmly, ready to take me away. But I looked at the shaken, broken Ben and didn't move. Yes, I said calmly. I never lost my memory. Ben staggered and looked at me, eyes full of fear. Austin only lowered his gaze slightly, unsurprised. Katie, still on the ground, laughed again, through her tears. I looked at Ben. That day, if you had waited just one more second, I would have laughed and told you I was joking. But you didn't wait. Not even a second. You immediately denied our relationship and pushed Austin toward me. Ben took another step back, trembling, shaking his head. Angela. I was still willing to give you a chance, if only you had realized your mistake in time. But instead, you let another man become my boyfriend. You let another man take care of me. You embraced Katie in front of me. You kissed her right before my eyes. You lit a sky full of fireworks for her. You looked at her with such tenderness, just like you once did for me. That's when I finally gave up on you. Ben shook violently, his voice breaking. Angela, I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. He stepped toward me, shaking. I was wrong. I know I was wrong. I regret everything. Angela, I just lost my way. He kept moving forward, but Austin held me tightly, shielding me with his entire body, glaring at Ben with a deadly look, keeping him away. I've always loved you, Angela. I wanted to marry you. I still want to marry you, Ben pleaded through tears, the kind that come when you realize something's truly lost. I already bought our rings. I was going to propose the moment you got your memory back. I wanted to beg for your forgiveness. I was ready to spend the rest of my life making it up to you. He opened a ring box with trembling hands. Angela, I love you so much. Please, please forgive me. I know you loved me too. You did love me. We were so in love. Angela, give me a chance, just one chance to make it right, please. Ben. Austin suddenly raised his hand and slapped the ring from Ben's grasp. Don't you get it? He said coldly. The moment you betrayed Angela, you lost her. You're a dirty man, what right do you have to ask for forgiveness? You're the one who pushed her into my arms. And now, Angela belongs to me. You'll never have another chance. I looked up at Austin, stunned. Why did he use the word dirty? It wasn't something a man usually said to another man. Except, I had said something like that once, in the vineyard. I blinked again, a bit dazed. No, that can't be. Ben scrambled to the ground, trying to retrieve the ring. It can't be. Angela loved me so much. She used to. She fed me porridge and medicine mouth to mouth when I was sick. She waited all night on the sofa when I came back in the early morning after driving through a storm. She thought I'd been in a car accident. When she realized I wasn't seriously hurt, she cried with joy and threw herself into my arms. She held me tightly all night. She said she was happiest with me. That she felt so safe and loved, she smiled so much in my arms. She loved me. She loved me so much, she wouldn't just let me go. He stood there sobbing, shaking, completely shattered, unable to accept it. So full of regret. Katie, still collapsed nearby, looked at him. It was hard to tell whether what shone in her eyes was the satisfaction of revenge or deep sorrow. Ben, I said softly, I once loved you. But not anymore. Then I turned and let Austin take me away. Angela. Ben's voice rang out behind me, filled with anguish and despair. He knew, he had truly lost me forever. No more chances. Austin brought me home. He insisted on checking me over, to make sure I hadn't been hurt. I let him check me over without resistance. Then he pulled me into a hug and kissed me gently. Angela, I love you, he whispered. No matter what version of you, I'll love all of you. I won't ask for all your love. Just love me the way you once loved Ben, that's enough. I will be loyal, pure, and give you everything. His voice was soft, almost trembling. He pulled out an exquisitely extravagant ring, held my hand tightly, so tight, so serious, so nervous. I blinked, a little stunned, then looked up at him. Something finally clicked. You heard what I said to Katie in the vineyard that day, didn't you? He nodded slightly. I laughed. So I was the mantis stalking the cicada, but he was the oriole behind me all along. I loosened my fingers, letting him, trembling with excitement, slip the ring onto my hand. Letting him kiss my fingers gently. One day, I said, paint a picture of me, right in front of me. He paused, then held me tight. I will. After Austin brought me home, everything he did from that point on made one thing clear, he never hated me. He liked me. But because I had once been in Ben's arms, all he could do was mask it with sarcasm and bitterness. How much did he like me? I wasn't sure. Would he stop cherishing me once he had me? I wasn't sure. Until I walked into his study and saw countless pencil sketches of me. Portraits of me he had drawn entirely from memory. All different versions of me, every smile, every expression. In those lines, he had poured out a love he had never dared to say aloud. And then I understood, he had loved me quietly, secretly, for a long, long time. Now, he had finally been given the chance to have me. And compared to Ben, he was still clean. That day, I learned. I was his only woman. And that was enough. I would love him too. He held me tightly in his arms, voice full of emotion, and finally confessed, I fell in love with you a long time ago, on the day I was at Ben's place, and you mistook me for him. You jumped from behind the sofa, wrapped your arms around me, and whispered softly in my ear. Good morning,